Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. Hey, episode 95. What's up, BK?
Oh, so much. I just came from another show. We have 2 more shows of The Prince's Big Adventurer left at the Toronto Fringe, and that has been going really, really well. So
Nice.
I've been having a great week. How about you,
Congrats.
Lars? How are you doing?
I'm great. Cool shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like the branding of it.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I like how it has the shoulder patches. Like it's
Right.
like a jersey.
Yeah, they logoed the fuck out of this one. Yeah, for doesn't matter what angle you're looking at, you're gonna see the logos here.
There you
Both
go.
2 logos, front. Yeah, there's only a way to show all 4 at once. Yeah, you're just spinning constantly. Yes. Yeah, it's been a great week. Studio's been really busy with self-tape auditions in person here in the studio. We've been running a bunch of Zoom auditions. I personally got a big one that I'm recording tonight that I'm super pumped for, recurring guest star, which is really nice. And the scenes will be really fun and I'm going to nail it. What else? Comedy Alley's booming. We had great shows on the weekend. We got 2 more great shows coming up. And the big news is for those who are following along at home, next week is our relaunch for our Audition Hero workshop, July 21st. So if you're an actor who has struggled anyway with any stress or anxiety with self-tape auditions, if you're finding yourself when you get an audition submission request from your agent, if you're frantically trying to figure out who your reader is going to be and where you're going to record it, and you're rearranging your furniture and figuring out what family member or friend you're going to have to bug and wondering, are they going to show up? Wondering if you're going to get it in at the deadline. All of those stresses and anxieties that make self-tape auditions not so fun, then this is the workshop for you. We're going to go through exactly the strategies and processes that working actors these days are using to record winning auditions so that ultimately you can book your dream role in TV and film. And what does that mean for you? That means you can just release that part of you who gets any stress or anxiety when you have an audition. It's probably going to mend some of your personal relationships with your spouse or family member because you're not going to have to be bugging them incessantly to help with your auditions, and you can just be a spouse to them and then let your acting career be done with professionals as well. And the big long-term game for everyone is to book that dream role, a series lead or a lead in a feature in a blockbuster. And we're actually going to be talking about a lot of the systems and processes that one of our clients has used to book a blockbuster lead role in a blockbuster film, as well as 2 series lead, all within the last year. So if you're an actor out there, even if you're just getting started, this workshop's going to really help with you. Or if you're a working pro and you're just looking to refresh and re-energize your audition process and up-level things, it's going to be a great event. So make sure you're registering. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. We do it virtually, so you can do it from the comfort of your own home. We'll have actors from across the world, so it's also an opportunity to network and collaborate and meet new actor friends, like-minded, growth-minded individuals across the globe. So it's going to be great. So make sure you hop on that. There'll be some bonuses and some prizes, and of course that leads to the doors opening to our 2022 enrollment for new members here at Actors Audition Club. And you can get on the priority wait list and jump the line there by going to laughingvikings.com/join. And as soon as we open the doors to Actors Audition Club, you'll be notified immediately, so you can be the first ones to crack in and get on board. So yeah, you excited for that, BK?
Oh, very excited. I'm excited to step into my dream role as an audition hero, Lars.
There you go. Speaking of audition heroes, I know that we're not allowed to talk about it, but you just booked a role the other day. You got news yesterday. We had a celebratory beer. You want to talk about that?
So I had an audition on Monday, and I found out yesterday that I booked a lead role in a feature film. So I don't have a lot of details right now, and I won't be talking about them, especially on this podcast right now. But I am very excited. It's probably the biggest role I've ever booked to date, and I am very excited to get started. And it's gonna be fun. I was really proud of that audition, and thank you so much for all your help, Lars, and all your great suggestions, and like getting that audition to the next level. And yeah, it was a fantastic process from start to finish. So,
well, we used my famous acting acronym, AWEB.
AWEB. Do you want to
always end with a burp?
There you go.
Brandon's got a skill to burp on command, and the scene called for it. He was chowing on some food, so we're like throwing a burp at the end there. That's great, and I think it was a real comedic, funny moment. It fit the character perfectly. I'm obviously saying that acronym a little facetiously, but I think the lesson too is if you have something unique that you can do, like if you're a singer, figure out a way to sing a line. If it's obviously got to fit the text and fit the scene.
Yeah.
If you're a dancer or a mover and you got some movement skill, find a way to showcase some of that talent. And if you're a professional burper, which you are, then figure out a way to weave that into an audition. All your little idiosyncrasies, things that make it personal, as Tom Todoroff says, how can you pee on it? I think those are always great choices, and you made some really strong choices in that audition, especially the opening and the close. And those who watched and listened to last week's episode, number 94, beginnings and endings, the moment before or the buttons, people, it's first impressions and it's last looks. And the middle's kind of the middle. We don't really remember everything in the middle, but if you nail those opening beats in your moment before and you nail that last beat, especially if you do a little improv button or something that's unique that no one else will be doing, it's a way that you can stand out, and it's a way that production and casting can see, oh, I've got a player here. All we need to do is just roll the camera, and this guy's going to give us gold off the top. He's going to give us gold at the end. If we don't yell cut, he's just going to keep going and keep improvising. And you did that great. And the other thing, kudos to you, you came in very prepped. You had strong choices. You were more than off book. We didn't really have to work at it. And I think you banged each scene out in maybe 2-3 takes. You probably could have used, like if it was an in-person audition, could have just been the first take and that was it. We tweaked it a couple of times, and I offered up some suggestions, as we like to do some bonus takes, but you nailed it. So congrats. Kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
There's a lot of booking mojo here in this studio. Right now. Yeah.
Nitish Sakuja just booked a role in another TV show, so we're super excited for him. Congrats to Nitish. He comes in he's always willing to work, and he's always willing to look for the different idea, which I always love about Nitish. And he's always very bold with his choices. So congrats to Nitish. Well deserved.
And Nitish, and I mean this in a good way, but Nitish always has a little bit of that I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, just in a way of I'm willing to try anything, and I'm willing, like he's somewhat shameless in the things like most stand-up comedians or sketch comedians are. They're bold enough to attempt and make choices that are really strong without thinking like, oh, is that too much, or is that going to be weird? If anything, a lot of the times with some of his choices, we have to dial him back, where it's like, okay, we love that, but is that appropriate for this scene? So yeah, congrats, Nitish. Another favorite over at Grand Wave Entertainment. And some general Laughing Vikings Actors Audition Club news. I got a sweet email in my email box today saying that Laughing Vikings qualified for another digital transformation grant from
Ooh.
an organization called Digital Main Street, I believe they're called, DMS.
Nice.
It's a business organization funded by, I think, the city of Toronto and or maybe the province, where they have some money available for companies looking to do digital transformation. So we're able to put that into online marketing, website development, video editing, all those kind of things. So it's
Sweet.
perfect. It's perfect timing for that. So
There you go.
yeah, it's an abundant world right now. And I got a message. Camille messaged me earlier today saying that tomorrow is some kind of super moon, giant moon event, like astrological thing, especially for people who are Capricorns. So there's a large manifestation / abundance mojo happening right now. So it's a good time to get into Laughing Vikings and a good time to get into Actors Audition Club because we're hot and there's booking mojo in the air. You smell that? Booking mojo. You know what it smells like?
Offers.
It smells like money and croissants.
Ooh.
Like, fresh buttery croissants and
Not scones?
money. Scones too. Yeah, scones and croissants.
Scones.
French baking, delicious French baking, and money. Although, what does money smell like? Money smells like plastic now. It just smells like Interact cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. So make sure that you register for Audition Hero. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero, which then leads to the new enrollment. So if you're aware of us and you're looking to hop on board with Actors Audition Club and you're looking to up-level your auditions, and the thing I want to just remind you is there's never been a better time to be an actor. There's never been more opportunities out there. There's more streaming services. There's more productions. There's more money going into productions. And you're only ever, regardless of whether you're brand new starting out or you're a 30-year vet in the industry, you're only ever one audition away from your life changing on a dime, whether it's a lead role in a feature like Brandon or a series lead like Chris Sandiford has booked recently as an example. And so you really want to ask yourself, are you willing to miss out on those opportunities because you're not at your absolute best? So that's what we do at Audition Hero is we challenge everyone to raise their bar and raise their personal expectations so that every time they're submitting their best, so that after an audition, you never want to think, did I miss that one because of something that was under my control? We all know you could have the stellar standout audition, performance of a lifetime, and still not get it for many reasons. But you never want the reason to think to be like, oh, I didn't prep enough. I didn't have a professional setup. I didn't have a proper reader. I was Jimmy rigging it all at home last minute. So take control of that and remove the stress, remove the anxiety, remove the procrastination. Never miss another deadline so that you and your agent know week in, week out, you're just putting A+ shots out there. So you're taking big swings. It's like if it was a baseball analogy, you're not going up there taking 3 pitches and then striking out because you never took a swing. You're going up taking big swings, professional swings with prep and with training and with a game plan as well. So now we are super excited. We've been trying to get our guest on here for weeks and weeks and weeks. She's so busy. And she's always booking, and we're always helping her with auditions as well. She was one of our finalists last year in our Audition Hero contest. We featured her during the Audition Hero training workshops, and we got her on the podcast today for a deep dive. Brandon's going to roll a little clip, and then we'll introduce you to her, and we're going to bring her onto the studio, and we're going to have a great conversation. She's one of our favorites.
Hello, this is Joreen Ignatius, and this is my story of inspiration. So prior to working as an actor full-time here at home in Canada, I was working as an actor outside the country. After the pandemic broke out, I came back home and I was anxiety stricken. There was a lot of worries about the future. I mean, the entire world was stuck at one point, right? I wasn't alone. So after being low key for some time, I decided 2 things mainly. One, I wanted to stay back home and work as an actor full time, not leaving the country anymore. Second, I wanted to start working on my craft, really put myself through training, start learning as much as I can. Because as a learner, or when you're learning, there's not much commitment, right? People are not going to judge you. So that put me at ease a bit. And I was going crazy at that. I was taking classes from various parts of the world. I was working on my voice. I was working on my body. I was doing dialect work. English is my second language. So I had to do some accent reduction work. And I started training myself in General American dialect as well. Till this day, I continue all this. After a year, I started applying for the agencies. And I got represented by Premier Artists Management. Yay! So now my second phase of acting career started with auditioning, real professional auditioning. I didn't want to mess up my audition, right? I need to make a good impression among the casting directors. I really have to give my 100% in every audition that I do, regardless of whether I book them or not. That's when I started collaborating with Laughing Vikings. Seriously, I don't know what would I have done without them. It's like the universe knows exactly what I needed in every part of my life. It was such a pleasure working with them. The one thing I like the most about Laughing Vikings is that they treat my audition as if their own audition. Whoever is helping me would treat my audition as his or her own audition. There's a lot of commitment. There's a lot of details they put in. There's a lot of care in providing that help. It didn't feel like that I was getting a service from someone. It was more like with your buddies, you're brainstorming your ideas and they're helping you. That's kind of a feel I get every time I audition with Laughing Vikings. They were part of my success this far. They were there with me from day one, and I'm sure they'll continue to be with me going forward. I really want to express my gratitude towards their support. It's like a community, and we do need this community. Once again, thank you so much.
All right. To know her is to love her. We've had the pleasure of working with her now for a year, maybe a little over a year. Please welcome to the studio on episode number 95, Jareen Ignatius. There she is. Hey.
Yeah, that was so touchy.
It was a blast from the past, that video. You probably haven't seen that in a little while.
Yeah.
Huh?
And congratulations to Laughing Vikings on that grant and continuing success and growth. Yeah, good. Yes. And also, Brandon, I was such a great news to hear that you booked the lead. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you, Jareen. I appreciate that.
Good stuff happening, guys.
Yeah. We're so excited to have you here because one of the interesting things is I feel like I know you very well and we've worked together so much, but we've actually never met in person. Mm-hmm. You live outside of Toronto, a few hours away. So we do all of our auditions remotely, which is one of the great blessings of COVID is things have switched to remote and Zoom auditions and things like that, which has just made life easier for a lot of people between doing self-tapes. And for you, like back in the day, you had to drive 3 hours to Toronto for 5 minutes in a room with a casting director and then turn around and drive back home. Now we can connect with actors all over the world. We can help them record their self-tapes virtually and then submit and from the comfort of your own home. So it's nice to see you. She was pre-show backstage. Jareen was commenting on the studio here. She's like, "Oh, nice studio." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you've never been here. We've done dozens of auditions with you." And I just want to show you here, I'm not alone. Viewers at home, here's a great shot of Luna, the security pug. Working hard here. Look. What's up?
Oh.
What's up?
She is technically our boss.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Get back on the podcast. You're supposed to be podcasting.
Yeah.
We have to keep her in the comfort that she has become accustomed to. So It makes sense.
Right. And I can't keep the camera. I can't keep the camera on her because I know all the viewers would just be watching her the whole time. And right there, we need a separate cam, the Luna cam.
The Luna cam.
Yes. So, Jareen, so great to have you here. We want to get into it. We always start off our new guests with a little segment called 1 Minute Life Story. That's where Brandon throws 60 seconds on a clock, counting from 0 up to 60. And you've got 60 seconds to tell us about the life of Jareen. So,
oh my goodness. All right. So time starts now.
No, I'll give you a proper intro.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jareen Ignatius's 1 minute life story starting now.
All right. So I born in Sri Lanka and I migrated to Canada in my teens. And then I studied here. And then in 2015, I went to India as a visitor. And I decided that I wanted to pursue acting because I've been doing it as a child. I've been doing dramas quite a bit. And I stayed back in India in 2015. And I started doing a lot of theater. And I started doing some films as well, South Indian films. And for about 5 years, I wasn't in India. And then pandemic broke out and I came back. The universe said, it's enough that you are in India. Now come back home and start doing some acting here. So I came back. I was anxiety in the beginning, but then I started learning. That was the first thing I did. I forgot everything. I just started learning, and I joined Tom Tara Saturday workshop, and I started learning. And then after a year, I applied for agencies, and I got represented by Premier Artist Management last year, June. Ever since I've been auditioning, and I'm with Laughing Vikings, and they're helping me with auditioning.
That was Jareen Ignatius' life story in a minute. Nailed it.
Yeah, there we go. Great job, Jareen.
Nice work. So that's great. One of the things that I've loved about Laughing Vikings, and again, it's a little bit silver lining from the pandemic, is being able to connect with people globally. The last Audition Hero event, we had actors in Canada, in the States, in Mexico, in Portugal, in the UK, maybe in Ireland as well. Obviously, we're meeting you. You're in Canada now, but you have that the backstory of being an international artist. So take us back. I want to know, you mentioned starting as a kid. Do you remember what was the first thing you ever did as a child where you were on stage? What was your first performance ever?
It's only while I was doing at school. I don't remember my junior kindergarten, but it is in my 5th, 6th grade in Sri Lanka. So I always take part in this cultural festivals that happens every year, the celebration at schools every year. And one performance is that I dressed up like a nun. I studied at a convent. So our principal was a nun, and I took part in that. And each one of us dressed as representing one of the nuns from school, and I represented one nun. And we were on the stage. We were dancing. We pretended like them. We kind of threw a little skit. So that's what's very vivid in my head. But I also was part of. I grew up in a Catholic church, so I was a part of. The festivals, the Christmas, all these Christmas shows, yeah, you might call them. So part of all those dramas, plays at church. So from childhood, it's always like, and I love to write poetry. I do participate in those speech competitions, but all in my native language. So for us in Sri Lanka, it's English, just one language, but we don't learn much English. We just, again, speak in our native language. So all that is I was doing in my native language in Sri Lanka. And when I was about 15 years old, I migrated with my parents. Entire family came here. So it was quite a bit of cultural shock and no language. I don't know any language. And I mean, I couldn't speak English, and it was quite a cultural shock. So I had to kind of go through all of that. Started off with my ESL, English as a second language. And so I remember first time I wanted to do I was deciding what I wanted to do at university. And two things was in my mind that I was not better in English. So at the time I thought I need to pick a subject that is more math oriented, so I don't need to write anything. And I was thinking because you become when you come as an immigrant, the financial situation is bit unstable, and so you got to kind of find a job that pays you well and you could make money. So those are the two things were determinants at the time to find to what I want to do at university. So I ended up doing software engineering at UFT. That was my first degree. And I worked about a year. I got bored out of it, and I said I want to do social work. I want to do something to deal with people because I'm a talker and I love to be with people. So I said I want to do social work. So about in 2 years' time, I started doing some volunteer work because I didn't have anything in my resume for social work. And after in 2 years, I applied and I got a fast track program at Thunder Bay, Lakehead University. So for 1 year. By the time we moved to Stratford, myself and my husband. And then, so after I finished my Thunder Bay degree in social work, I directly moved to Stratford. And I started working at a legal clinic here as an intern. Then I started working as a full-time staff at Canadian Mental Health Association. So I was working there for 3 years, helping clients dealing with mental health concerns and addiction concerns. And I was doing all that. And then all of a sudden, again, I got bored. And I said, we want to do a small trip to India. So I never been to India. That was the first time going to India. Went to India. I took about 6 months leave off from work. We went to India. But India, it's huge when it comes to the film industry. It's huge. And so we always kind of look up to that and they also have they also kind of speak the similar language that I speak. So there are a lot of the commonality. So when I went there as a visitor, I went there as a visitor to stay there for about 3 months and tour. But my heart still was saying I wanted to do some learning in acting. So being there, I started taking like a 1-month course on acting. And then that led to me doing a first time in India doing a stage play for a festival. And in India and Sri Lanka, they do stage plays in open space. I'm not sure about here, but there they do it even for festivals, like Hindu festivals, they do stage plays. So I took part in that stage play, playing a main character. And this is like people who never knew me. And I'm like only 1 month in India. And they said, like, let's do this. And I did that. And then I about to come back. And I was thinking, because my heart is always like about acting. And, that's what I really keep close to my heart. So I couldn't leave India. And I said, let's just stay back for a year and I will explore whatever I can. And then I'll come back to Canada. So I sent my husband back home and then I stayed back. And I said, it's just 1 year and I'll be back. And I promised. And I started joining theater groups and theater groups. I joined theater groups. And I started doing theater. I traveled India and I started doing films. And then I didn't come back until mid 2020. So for 5 years, I stayed back in India. That 1 year kind of changed into 5 years. But while I was doing there, I was doing some films and I was doing a lot of theater. And then I came back in 2020 because of the pandemic. So that's my Indian trip. But then after coming here, but one thing happened in India is that, so I quit my job here. I sent a notification to my employer here at CMHA saying I'm no longer, I would come back and join. But one thing in India taught me, they were mentors and they kind of helped me as well to think about acting not just as a, gig on a television. It's not just, earning money. It's about a lifestyle. One of my mentors also used to tell me, actors, you have to live your life as actors. It's your lifestyle. It's something that you have to make change in every parts of your life. You have to become politically conscious. You have to become socially conscious, and you have to become conscious about your body, about your voice, and everything. And so when I came back, that sort of gave me a foundation to say, what I need to continue this on a full-time basis. No more going back to social work. So when I came back, That's and I joined Tom Toro Saturday's workshop while from India. So that's why I joined. So every day there, when I started off, it will be 2 a.m. for me.
Wow.
Oh.
And I will stay up for those 5 hours and I go to bed. So I started off with him, and that was another blessing. Because with Tom, I always say he did not just teach us about craft. He taught us again about actors and your moral responsibilities. And he gave me reminded me that when I came back to Canada, I wasn't sure what to do, and I wasn't sure if I'm going to go back. And it was so much anxiety, and like we always wanted things happen so fast. My friends were saying, why don't you just get some clipping from your work from India and send them to the agencies? But Tom reminded me that be patient, and first impression is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
He reminded me just take it slow. So with that advice, I said, I'm not going to reach out to the agencies at least for a year. I'm just going to train myself and slowly build my work, and then I will reach out to the agencies. So I was taking classes from various places as well as from Tom as well, trying to see which fits for me. And also I was looking at I was evaluating myself, like where I need to improve the most, and who will give me that something that I need to improve on. So I was doing a lot of sussing out, and then after a year, kind of built my foundation. I started applying to agencies. I don't know if Lars remember, some of the clippings I send in my show reel were recorded with you from Laughing Vikings.
Right.
So we started off recording scenes not for the auditions, for my show reel.
To get the agent. Right.
Yeah, to get the agent. Yeah,
Right.
to get the agent. So that's how we started off. Yeah. So from the classes, I chose materials that fit me, and I wanted to build a proper show reel. And then I applied. And again, the other good when I was applying for agencies, I was doing a lot of research. And one of the advice I got, the greatest advice is, don't send a bulk emails to all the agencies. They
Right.
said research the agency and send an individual emails to every agent,
Right.
and tell them why you like them. So I was doing that really worked, because in a month I got represented by Premier Artist Management, because I did my homework and I was sending it individually, with my profile. Yeah, and then it's been almost a year and a couple of months, and I booked about 3 commercials and about 3 TV shows.
Wow.
Yeah,
Killing it.
so that's in about a year. So
What a journey.
starting from nothing.
Yeah. Congrats. I love your story. Thank you for being so detailed with everything there as well, and your history. A couple things I want to unpack. First of all, I'm wondering, did you originate Whoopi Goldberg's role in Sister Act? Were you guys doing Sister Act there?
No, but I remember, yes.
And the other thing too is we have a little similarity. I was also raised in Catholic. I went to elementary school, was Catholic school for me. And my aunt, I have an aunt, she's no longer with us, but she was a Catholic nun, but Irish Catholic. So she was always a bit of a party nun, and she liked her rum as well. So she was like, she'd be like, her name was Kathleen. So it'd be like, oh, Sister Kathleen getting into the nun rum. She was great. She was a lot of fun.
That's fun. Unfortunately, my nuns, like, they were like very, very strict.
Yeah, they weren't as strict. They were like party nuns by this time. So and the other thing I love too, and kudos to you for so many people have these ideas and they get these little whisperings in their head about following their dreams and doing all these things, and they don't follow them. Like the fact that you left the job, the fact that you moved from Canada to India, the fact that you made those connections and were in something, like you'd been there a month as a foreigner, and all of a sudden you're playing roles in India, and then to have the bravery and courage, not only in your own life but in your marriage as well, to say, hey, this is what I'm being called to do. I feel like I need to stay here for a little bit, and having the trust in your husband and the faith that, okay, you can go home and we're going to be okay. That's huge. Like the fact that like those years, and you think about like, I guess 2 years, 3 years ago versus now, it's like you're living an entirely different life, and that's such a huge inspiration, hopefully, to people listening. And even if it's not people, like, it doesn't have to be specifically acting, but to all the people out here who are thinking, oh, there's something more for me in my life, or there's something that I've always wanted to do. I love stories like yours because that inspires, and you never know, there's might be one person listening today that is like, you know what, Jareen, I'm going to do that too. Fuck it. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to move to India. I'm going to follow my passion. It's just such a huge example. And it's a big reason for me too, that it's a big reason that I'm in the acting world. And it's one of my favorite things about being an actor and being a stand-up comedian, is because I get to tell that story. For me, it was leaving a corporate job later in life. I didn't start till I was 30, 31 years old, after a 10-year corporate career. And I think that's one of the great, just the great things about artists in general, is artists have the courage to follow that artistic passion, and to a certain degree just set aside the societal norms of, oh, you need to get a good job. And especially for you being an immigrant, often the immigrant story is of immigrant parents saying, hey, we busted our asses to get here to create a better life for you. You need to go get a job, get a high paying job, focus on your career, focus on your income. And sometimes, because of the necessities of life and wanting to build that better lifestyle, especially financially, it's tough for children of immigrant parents to break free of that and to let them, or to give your parents the opportunity to just be like, hey, listen to me, trust me, this is all going to work out. Don't worry about it. But I mean, you obviously followed their path in the beginning enough to get your degree and to get a job. And then you realized, okay, now it's my life. So all that to say, kudos to you. You made some bold life choices, and it's paying off for you now too. You're auditioning regularly for TV and film. Casting directors here in Canada know you. You're booking roles with different casting directors. I'm sure your agency is thrilled with you. So yeah, you're just such a great success story. So we love you. I can't say enough about you.
Thank you so much, Charles. Yeah, that's true. And also the age, the other thing that people might think, sometimes am I too old to start something, too young to start something, but yeah, like you said, as an immigrant, I call myself as a 1.5 generation. So like my parents are first generation, I'm 1.5 generation. So yeah, like I couldn't pursue my dream, and financial situation was one of the reasons. My thing was like, I need to pay off my parents' debt, so I need to become an engineer first so that I can make money, right? But my acting started off in my mid-age. So that again, sometimes in the beginning I was wondering, am I too old to start my acting career at a mid-age? But then now I don't, because one thing, like someone told me, you don't want to have any regrets on your deathbed. So when life gives you an opportunity to pursue something that of your dream, just go for it. It doesn't matter age, your height, your look. I'm only 5 feet. I'm in 4'11", and my age is 5 feet. So all of that, it really doesn't work for my. That might work one day, might work for my benefit, but I do have limitations. But one thing I've learned all these years is take control of things that you cannot control. You could control, but things that you cannot control, just let them go. You can never change them, but really work on things that you could have control over. So for example, my voice, I used to have a very head voice. And I remember about last year when I did that scene with Tom. Up until then, I was doing some rehearsals. Like I will do twice a week something. I'll do some practice. And he asked me, do you do practice every day? And I said, no. And I was ashamed of giving that answer, but I said, no. And he said, well, start working every day on your voice. Ever since, 99% every day, about 20 minutes to half an hour, I work on my voice. and I also work with a vocal coach.
Mhm.
And I also started working on dialect, American dialect. And I do practice at least once every day. I do about 45 minutes at least I spend on rehearsing. And I can feel like it's not just as an actor, but as a human being, like to communicate, I feel I have more confidence now in speaking. So those are the things I could take control over: my voice, my accent. I mean, I don't need to lose my accent, but I could acquire more accents for sure. And I'm 5 feet, so I have to make sure that my presence is made. So that's through my body. So I have to work on my body and bring that energy into my body. So those are the things that I make sure that I have control over, and I'm not going to give that away for anyone. So I work on them every day. But my age, what my hair color is, what my eye color is, what my skin tone is, I can't do anything about it, and I just don't care.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that it's so interesting, and it happens across all fields. But as humans, it's amazing how much we fight for the stories that hold us back. Like you'll hang on, people will hang on to the story of, oh, I'm too old, or my accent, or I'm not tall enough, or whatever the reasons are that they feel they're not succeeding. People will like hang on to that stuff instead of just let that stuff go, control what you can, and don't have. It's such a weird, it's a very human thing that people do, but it's like we all for some reason want to fight for the stories that aren't serving us instead of letting go of those stories and creating new stories that do serve us. So kudos to you. Question is, what was your first professional gig? When's the first time someone gave you money to do this?
Actually, I was lucky in India. So all of the films, even the first theater play that I've done, it's based on a film. So they did the play, and I got paid for that gig. And in India, they don't pay you quite a lot. I mean, the pay scale, it's not equal, and it's only like top stars get a lot of pay. But ever since then, I was getting paid for every part I did in feature films, and I also made sure that my time is valued. So, for example, if I'm working with students, of course they have a limited budget. So for those things, I do it according to what they have. But other than that, yeah. So my first play, I got paid.
Wow.
How long was the run of the show?
It's an hour show.
Sorry, I meant how
long?
how many days and how many.
Oh, that was just one day.
Oh, it was just one day.
Yeah. So
Oh.
they have this, like they performed it at a Hindu festival that comes in September, and they celebrated. So part of celebration, they have an open stage, and they sing and they dance and they do stage shows, theater shows. Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you,
Okay.
Jareen, is before you discovered us here at Laughing Vikings, were you already auditioning at all, or what were you doing for self-tapes, or did you find us because you knew that you were starting to audition? Like, what did you do
No.
for us?
Yeah, so before I started professionally, I was kind of, first thing I did, I joined all these community groups on Facebook. And I was keeping an eye on auditions. Sometimes they posted on Facebook these pages, and I would audition for them. And I was asking my friends and sometimes my husband. But one thing was very, very a little bit of frustrating or sometimes disappointing is that unfortunately people are not available all the time. And I wanted, and it's hard sometimes when you're auditioning with your family members, it ends up in a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, why did I get divorced? Oh, because me and my husband argued about an audition.
I know. That's the reason. So yeah, so it was kind of, and also I was feeling bad, to troubling people, my
Right.
friends, and asking them to come and join at odd hours and then I had to do a few more, like some takes, and I don't know if they have enough patience. So yeah, it was such a I didn't feel like I was giving my 100%. I didn't feel like I was giving my 100%. So I wanted a service, someone who would, and also I want to have a space where it's not judgmental, especially when you're starting off, right? You know, lack of confidence, and when someone says something, it's just going to get stuck in your head. So I was looking for a safe, a kind of welcoming, and also I was looking for someone who could give me some pointers, not just read it. And I would have no idea. Some friends like read for me and they have no idea. They just read it, and I kind of wonder, did I do it right, or should I have done it better, and how do I make it better? And I just kind of go crazy in my head, and I don't have any ways to talk to them. So all these things were missing, trying to auditioning with friends and family members. Yeah.
Right.
Then through Tom's class, I met you, and it was, yeah, it took off from there.
Yeah, it's very common. A lot of actors do it either just out of necessity, not having another place, or not having a connection to a studio or other actors to help them, or sometimes in a money saving mentality of, oh, I don't want to spend money to book a studio or to book a coach. But then, and it doesn't really make sense, because you're aiming to book a professional role in a professional production,
Mm-hmm.
but you're working with unprofessional people who, they're not actors, they're not directors, they're not camera people, they're not editors. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a little bit of it's just there's a disconnect there. So I think it's a great lesson is, if any TV or film that you watch, all the actors are professional and all the crew are professional.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you think that doing an unprofessional audition with unprofessional people is going to really work out for you long term? And a lot of actors make that mistake, and then you look back and be like, okay, how many of those auditions did I actually miss because I wasn't nailing it? And the power of, even if it's just an actor who has some acting chops, just one creative or two creative little suggestions, or, well, what about this, or what about that just dialing up your auditions. You're not going to get that from your husband, and why would you? And the other thing, like you mentioned, is often comments or feedback you're getting from a family member, they're not professional, educated acting directions. They're things that he might say to you in your relationship, and then all of a sudden relationship stuff is leaking into what should be a professional audition scenario, and all of a sudden you and your husband are having an argument unrelated to the scene, and you're like, oh, why are you doing this? Oh, why are you doing that? And all of a
Imagine,
sudden,
yeah.
so we're saving marriages here as
Saving
well.
marriages,
So
yes.
if you're married, and take the stress off, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter who your spouse is out there. Of course, even if you have the most supportive spouse, if they're not an actor and they're not in the industry, they're out of their lane, so they're going to feel a little uncomfortable. They're doing their best to help you, but they don't really know how to help you. So you just put them in an uncomfortable situation. And if it's your friends, then you start to feel bad. Oh, I'm dragging you over to my house here for 2 hours, and then they don't show up because they have their own life as well. That's the other thing that happens. So all of those scenarios are the reason that we exist here at Actors Audition Club and Laughing Vikings, is to alleviate that. So what else is I going to say here? And so how has that changed? Like, how is your mentality now when you get an audition now through your agent? How does that process work? Or to someone who doesn't know how we operate, how does the process work for you? And what can you tell people who are maybe hesitant about making that leap to invest professionally into some kind of audition setup?
I understand. I mean, I don't want to be a judgmental of people's financial situations. I understand money could be a concern, but one thing is, see, the thing is, if you like Tom always says, if you want to get more, you need to invest more, and that's the rule of thumb, right? So if you want opportunities, if you want to book real, I mean, other than commercials, but for real acting gig, if you want to book opportunities, even for commercials, I find it very helpful with Vikings. I'll talk about it later. But yes, it's you got to put in money to get more. So, and also, the thing is, what I find is with me, the more, because I'm every audition, I come here and I'm prepared well. I make sure that I'm well prepared. I remember my lines, and then when I work with Brandon or yourself or someone else, it gets even better. And I feel so much. I don't care whether they will choose me or not, but I am confident that I gave my 100% or 200%. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what that does, it gives me more auditions. Because if you want to book something, first of all, you have to get more auditions. That will lead you to booking something eventually. So if I don't send in a professional, well committed self tape, I don't think my casting director would be willing to send me another audition my way. So if I need to build my auditions up, I need to start sending in well committed, professional, well played self tape. It's period. So yes, I would say, like, financially look into ways to be creative so that you could invest, or you could allocate money towards doing a professional self tape. And the other thing is when you're kind of doing when you're paying for someone, to do the self tape, there's a commitment in place. If you're with your friends and families, you're always kind of be this last minute thing. I remember sometimes a couple of friends, I told them go for service, but they come to me, but they will like not be prepared at all, because you slack off when you're friends and families. So here there is commitment, and it's time limited. So when it's only an hour, it really saves my time. That's the other thing. When I started off, I'll probably spending like 5 to 6 hours for a small script, because I don't have, no one's telling me stop it, and I'm not paying anything. So it just so I take it easy. So it forces me to be committed, to prepared. So I have to be prepared. I have no other choice. And I know that within 1 hour, when I'm prepared with the suggestions that I'm getting, my self tape will be, I could take it to another level. So all that, it's an incentive, like pushes me towards a better, complete, kick-ass performance. So you're not going to be losing anything. You will be building up. Certainly it'll be towards your growth. Definitely not the other way around. So so I would strongly recommend that you do sign up for Laughing Viking or any professional service. And I love I love Laughing Viking. Like I said, I did try like with a few other people in the beginning. There were other services. I didn't find that the comfortable, like I wasn't very comfortable with other people. Again, like I don't know. I find it very easygoing with Laughing Vikings. It's very easygoing. Like I said, like in my audition tape, like it just don't feel like I'm even auditioning. I kind of forget. Halfway through I forget, and I feel like I'm playing like a live theater or something. And especially with with you and Brandon, you kind of gives me idea, and you makes me high, and I'm like, I get high on all these suggestions, and I'm like, oh, I'm playing a scene. Like,
I love that.
theater.
Yeah. Green getting high on her own supply. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
Really. Like some people, they treat auditions and it's just like anxiety. Oh my God, I got to do this. And they're so stressed out because it's a big opportunity and they don't want to lose it. But that's just the wrong energy. It has to be playful. And you as the actor, you're there to solve a problem for production and casting by being the person. I love what you said too about when you invest, there's a commitment. We talk about that often. One of my business coach is James Wedmore through his program Business by Design. And something he often says is the transformation begins with the transaction. And the best example is when you give money up front to say any coach or any trainer, but use the example of a fitness trainer. Everyone knows like there's enough free YouTube videos and all the information in the world out there on how to get healthy and how to get fit. But when you make the commitment, okay, here's $500 for 3 weeks or 3 months of personal training, you're going to show up, you book those sessions. You're not going to show up wearing jeans and work boots. You're going to show up in your gear, in your wardrobe, ready to rock with the right mindset. And it's the same thing with any professional investments, whether it's classes or audition coaching or audition recording. Is you have skin in the game is what, and financial money is only energy. Like money is an idea that we've all agreed on that has this value, but it's an energy exchange too. So when you put money, it's like if you enroll in a university program, or when I enrolled in Todorow's conservatory, immediately I'm like, oh shit, I just threw over a good chunk of money. That bolsters your professionalism and your confidence. And then you're like, oh, I'm taking this seriously now. And then that translates to how you act and how you plan your day, and the discipline of showing up and making sure that you take advantage of that money, and making sure that you optimize all of that time so that you're getting the return on that investment. And that's huge. And you don't have that. It's like everything in the world with the internet right now, doesn't matter what you want to learn, it's out there for free. You can learn anything you want for free, but do you really put skin in the game until you swipe that card or throw some cash at it? So
doing it the right way.
Yeah.
You could do it in many ways, but are you doing it the right way?
Love
And most of, they say like you work hard but work smart. So
Right.
this is the way of working smart,
Right.
not just working hard.
Yeah, and the time saving thing that you mentioned is a big one too. Yeah, do it with your friends and family, and do it at home where you're rearranging furniture and you're having to deal with them, and you're having to do take after take after take, because as a reader, they're not an actor, so they're flubbing lines and saying things weird or making it really clunky, and you have to do it again and again and again. And then you ask, okay, I just saved, maybe you save $60 or whatever you would have saved, but then you just spent 4 hours of your life. Well, you also have to value your own time, like you were saying.
Time is money, right?
Yeah, time is money, and are like that's all we have, and time's the one resource that we have that is limited. We only get so much, and we don't know when it's going to end. So you don't want to spend your life taking 3 and 4 and 5 times longer doing things that could take you a half hour to an hour. So it's just such a great lesson in realizing, like, okay, are you really saving money? Well, you're not if you value your own time, and you're like, maybe as an actor at the highest level, if you're getting paid $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a day on set, that makes your hourly wage $250 or $500 or $1,000. So then if you reverse engineer that and you're like, oh, I'm saving $50. Well, not if it takes you 4 hours, because if your hourly wage is $500, that actually just cost you $2,000. So really think about that, and think about the value of your time, listeners and viewers out there. Brandon,
one other thing I want to mention is I was going to say, one other thing, I mean, with these auditions with Laughing Vikings over times, the other thing, one of the skills that I built is being able to play on demand, so on cues. And that happens. I mean, I've been on the set like at least a few times, and I was told, just improvise. They just give you a content and just improvise. Say few other lines, like add few lines to this, with this meaning, and they just go like this, and you don't get to do too many takes. And you are, so this is like restricted environment, and you get an hour and you're prepared, and you give suggestions, and you learn to take that on the spot and be able to bring that into your work. So so you don't get all those incentives with your friends and families.
Love it. Brandon, you had a question as well?
Yes. Jareen, I know you have a big project coming up that you got a grant for, that's based on a poem. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I come from theater background, so I love theater, although I want to do a lot more of film and TV, but I love theater. I love the energy in the theater. I love the teamwork in the theater. I love the process in theater. So this is something I want to create. I mean, as an artist, one thing is that, you do the auditions and you look for opportunities, but at the same time, you also make your own opportunities. You spoke about this, Lars. I've heard before. Create your own opportunities, whether you're write a script and film a short film, or or do a theater production, and especially in today's world, I call it like a global village. So everybody's connected with technology, and you could do a lot of live streaming. You could do a digital piece in theater, and you could screen it to millions and audience around the world. So that inspired me, and I wanted to do a digital piece on my experiences as an immigrant. And I also come from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a political tension and war happened, and it's still happening. It's not a safe place. So I have a lot of that that coming from oppression, and then coming to Canada, and living a life here. So I kind of wanted to bring voice to those experiences. And right now we see a lot of immigrants also around the world moving to different countries. And I believe and again, the other thing I've learned as an actor is that have a mission in yourself. So my mission is to um, provoke a change in audience, even a slightest change, by telling my stories, or stories that relatable to me, and inspire people, be inspired and inspired. So this is a poem written by a Somali poet. It's about refugees and immigrants fleeing a war country and then settling in a foreign land. Initially, when you settle in a foreign land, especially for me, like I didn't know the language, so there was a lot of bullying at school, people ridicule, and I lost my first job because my English was so slow. As a call center, call center. I was answering calls, marketing calls, and I got let go the next day. So there was a lot of these battles, and so this poem talks about these struggles, and then sometimes in a foreign country, sometimes for your skin color, for your language, you're being discriminated and all those things. So I want to bring that, and I also want to write a story around this poem and have about 30 minutes to an hour, a script developed, and produce it digitally. And I want to screen it at festivals, and because it's also about human rights, I want to screen it at places where they do speak about human rights, and they do about refugees and immigrants. So I'm applying for OAC, Ontario Arts Council grant, and also Canadian Arts Council grant. So Ontario Arts Council has, I'm applying for the creation stage to develop this script. For Canadian Council, they have you could actually do a digital production. So you have an idea, and then you write a script, and then you produce, and you do the post-production work. So I'm in the process of applying for this, and it's very exciting. I mean, as an artist, as an artist, this is very exciting. One is that giving back to my community, like what you're doing now, Lars and Brandon. You're giving back to the community. Really, you're all these podcasts and all these services you're doing. You're giving back to the community, and that's something I learned in India. Is it's as an artist, always look for ways to give back to the community, because you're taking a lot of resources from them, and I'm taking resources from you right now, and I want to give back the same way, right? And the second thing is I want to inspire and be inspired, and also it's sort of a healing coming from all these things. A lot of trauma happens, so I want to be able to kind of heal myself, and I want to create my own opportunity. That's the big thing as an artist. I want to create my own opportunities, and hopefully that again will inspire people to start creating their own opportunity. When you said you got a grant, I told myself, oh, I'm in the right
Right.
track. I'm also doing so that's the thing. It shows we feed each other, and we inspire each other, right? So so it's exciting.
Yeah, love it. Let me just grab Luna here. We'll start to wrap up. We might get a knock on the door here. We've got a session at the studio shortly. I love everything that you're saying. And I think there is a big lesson is ask every actor, every artist, or just every human needs to ask, why are they doing what they're doing? Why are they living the life that they're doing? And I think if you're only living it for yourself, that'll only take you so far. And you'll have less success doing it selfishly than you would if you took a role model mindset or a collaboration mindset. Like our mission statement here at Laughing Vikings is to uplift, empower, and inspire a global audience of 1 billion people by helping actors and comedians share their stories via TV, film, and live performances. Because when you wake up every day and it's only for you, that only takes you so far. And when you're feeling lazy or your energy's weird, then you can just be like, I'm just going to sleep in today and I'm not going to push harder. I'm not going to go for that opportunity. But when you're thinking, a community of people or a team of people or a client list of people or my friends and family or young like in your case, young immigrant females of color coming up, for them to see this story from you, that's going to be hope and inspiration that they see, and then they follow in your footsteps. So the ripple effect is far huger if you think, why am I doing this? And hopefully you're doing this not only for yourself, but for other people. Obviously, do it for yourself. That's nice as well, and live your life. But there's more to it, I think. So I love that. So Brandon, anything else you want to add?
Jareen, do you have any advice that you would give to your past artist self?
Past artist self is definitely not be critical of myself, especially things that I don't have control over. I used to think that I'm too short. I used to think that, I cannot sing because my voice is too squeaky. I was critical of myself. Even after coming to Canada, I mean, being a color person, sometimes I'm critical of myself. I shouldn't be doing this because I'm a person of color. But not to be critical of myself at all. This world is, it's beautiful. World is beautiful. There are a lot of people that like-minded and people are with kindness. You just have to find the right people and surround your people with, positivity and inspiring attitude, and never be critical of yourself. Celebrate who you are, and who you are might be one day in demand, and you never know. So that's the biggest advice I would say.
Love that. Jareen, I wish there was a feature on Zoom where we could jump through the lens here so that we could give you a hug and high fives here. We love your energy. We love your enthusiasm. Your journey and your story is amazing. So kudos to you. Continue to fight for that. And then please, it's been our pleasure to work with you this far on all your auditions, but just know that we're rooting for you, and anything that we can do to help and support you through this journey or through this next production, always know that we're in your corner and we're fighting for you. And we love everything you're doing. This is one of my favorite episodes, and I'm sure your agency and every casting director that meets you, whether virtually or in person, the energy and positivity and just your entire vibe is so attractive that you're just going to continue to have opportunities. There's going to be a time where you're going to have to shift to saying no very quickly, because there's going to be so many opportunities coming your way that people are going to be like, here, take my money. And you're like, I don't have time for your money right now. I'm doing my own thing. So I'm so excited to see what you do next.
Awesome, guys. And I will make my point at the workshops. I will sign up for the monthly workshop coming up on the 21st, right?
Yes. That's a great segue. Everyone watching, listening, go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. You can register, even if you've been to the last one like Jareen. We're going to add some new things, and it's going to be new up level. Also opportunity for you to meet new actors all over the world. Join a great community here. And then at the end of that Audition Hero workshop, we're going to have a 1-week open enrollment period where we'll be accepting new actors into Audition Club. And you can actually skip the line and go to laughingvikings.com/join as well. And that'll get you on the VIP wait list. And that will make sure when the doors open after Audition Hero, you'll be first to be notified, so that you'll be able to take advantage of those. And there may also be some fast acting, quick joining bonuses that we offer. In the meantime, make sure to keep listening. This is a fire episode. I think in the future, this is going to be one of our most beloved and most listened to and downloaded episodes. So thank you so much, Jareen.
Thank you so much for having me,
great.
guys.
Thank you. And we'll see you soon.
Yes. See you soon.
All right. Luna says
Good luck,
goodbye.
guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right.
Goodbye.
We'll see you
Bye.
soon. Have a great
Bye.
night.
Yeah.